Aett. Sanda, welcome onto my channel. This week I'm doing a video on the Rune Hagalaz. Enjoy. First of all, welcome to any new people who are watching for the first time. I hope you get some benefit from this. What we're going to do today is talk about the Rune Hagalaz or Hagalaz. It's known as Hel or Odin's Aett. It is the second one down. Each Aett, and there's 3 of them, have 8 runes within them, and they all depict things that are happening or things that we do, things around life and things around what we can't do anything about. So this one is quite a powerful one, and it starts off the second layer. Now it looks, and I'll just show it to you, just get up and show this to you. I don't know what way around that would be. Yeah. So there you go. That is Hagalaz. Looks like an H, so it's easy to remember. So H for Hagalaz, H for horrendous, because if you was to line this up with a tarot card, it would either be the Tower or the Death card. You ask why? Well, the reason for it is something drastic that will change you within. Something that you have no control over, something that will hit you like a bolt, something that will happen to you and will be sometimes an awful thing, but through it could be a good potential. And in a minute I will take you through a path working. My videos on the runes are not about what you know about them, it's how you feel about them, the energies within them, and how you can grasp them and use them, because you know what their energy is and how it makes you feel. Other people normally go into the background of them, which is great, also good to know how you're feeling. Now, as I say, on the altar today I've got the sun and the moon, because the sun is like fire and the moon lights up the darkness. So with the fire it burns catastrophes, things out of your control, things that will hurt. But the moon gives light in the situation, and so it balances itself out. Now I'm burning the incense, myrrh and frankincense, because it is something that will bring into light how you feel, and it is a good fragrance to denote the upside down way of thinking. And in a minute, when you've done the path work, and you will understand what it is I'm trying to give across. So on the altar also, first of all, the colours: indigo, blue, grey. They are the colours for Hagalaz. And I've put on here natural elements like stones and all sorts of things that, you know, crystals, things that have been within the earth for centuries, that will cause through a big catastrophe when the big comet hit the earth and caused the Ice Age. Hagalaz is known for being hail, because hail are like hard crystals of water, and they hurt. When they hit you, they hurt, and they're unexpected and you don't know what to expect. I have also got the horn of plenty, because from that, the situations you might find yourself in, there could be a potential for gaining something better afterwards. And I will go into that in a minute. It is hard to understand. You have to look back at how people saw these things back in those days. To them it was a miracle when they saw these little pieces of white, hard lumps coming from the sky, coming from the gods. They must have thought it was the gods being upset with them, throwing these stones at them. But afterwards, when they melted, it filled their bucket with water from the heavens. So through it, even though it hurt, they had potential. And that is what Hagalaz is all about. The stone that you can put with it, and I like it, it's a lovely stone, and that's the onyx stone. And the cypress tree is also related to it. And so they are the things that you can use for it. Now I've put a white and a red candle, white depicting the ice and red the fire. So you've got that, and also, even though it is mainly ice, you know, it does incorporate all the elements together. Because, for example, if you had a whirlwind, there'd be water with it, there'd be air with it, there'd be heat with it, there would be earth definitely with it. So it incorporates all the elements. Quite a powerful rune, but used in the right way can benefit us. When you look at the colours and you look at the things that are related to it, it's not a bad rune at all. I love this rune because it makes you look into what's going on and come out the other side with maybe better than what you had before. So if you're ready, guys, we will go into a nice path working now, and I'm going to take you back in time. So if you're ready, find yourself a comfortable seat and close your eyes and relax and take a deep breath in. And as we do this, I shall just bang the drum because it helps to bring you into it. So take a deep breath in now through the nose. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Hold it and let it out through the mouth. In through the nose. Hold and out through the mouth. And as you breathe in through the nose, you start to feel yourself becoming lighter. And now we don't need to focus on the drum anymore because we are feeling much lighter and everything is becoming softer. And you're happy where you are because you feel relaxed. And all your body feels relaxed. And you can't keep your eyes open because you're so relaxed. You find yourself in a dark place. There's nothing around you but darkness. But in the distance, you see a little light. And then in the distance, you see a little light on the opposite side. You don't know what it is, so you try to find your way towards it. As you come nearer, you see the one on the left is vibrant white, and the one on the right is vibrant red or gold. Wonder why they are there, and then you see in the middle the symbol for Hagalaz. It is an H, but the middle is slanted down. It is the boulder that holds the two pillars up. It is wedged between them at a slant. Easy to remember, and now you know why. because they are barriers. Both sides are barriers to keep you safe, but the thing in the middle, it holds them together. As you see the sign and the symbol for Hagalaz, it grows larger and larger until it resembles a doorway. You find yourself drawn to going through Hagalaz, as you know it is a door that can't be opened, but a door that you can go through. And when you come out the other side, in front of you is Hel, the goddess Hel. You are surprised to see her there because it's not what you're expecting. She looks at you and she says, I'm going to show you something that you'll always remember. You follow her as she wastes no time. You find yourself in the prehistoric times. You find yourself near a cave. There are prehistoric animals walking, but there's also a group of human beings around a fire. There's desert and there's trees, but it's all sparse and it's all laid out. It's very warm, and they're all there eating the food they have caught that day and communicating in their own way. It starts to get dark, and it's not time for it to get dark. And the leader looks up at the sky and points. He's frightened. He doesn't know what it means. The sky is getting darker for no reason. Hel looks at you and says, you are seeing what happened, the catastrophe that hit the earth millions of years ago. You stand there feeling very sorry for them because you know what's going to happen, but they don't, and they are very frightened. The mothers holding their little babies, running into the caves, trying to guard them with their furs, trying to look after them and make them safe. It was starting to get even darker. It was like a huge shadow coming upon the earth really fast. And all of a sudden, there is the most almighty explosion as this big boulder from the skies hits the earth. For a second, nothing happens, and then all of a sudden there is chaos. There is earth up in the air, there is animals collapsing, and these people are huddled in their caves. They are terrified. Some of them go deep down into the caves. Others are caught in the explosion and pass away in very terrible ways. Hel looks at you and says, they are with me now. Do not take this on board. Just relate to it as it is. You realise how damaged the earth became and how it's a miracle that it's now a beautiful earth, that was complete destruction. Everything that they knew has gone, everything has disappeared. The ones that went down into the caves, they had taken a food supply with them. They were not silly. They had a storage within the cave which would keep them going for a little while. How they survive, I really don't know. And I ask Hel, how do these people survive? There are no animals left. There is nothing. The water, well, what do they do? She says, watch, watch. We're now stepping forward in time, a little bit further down. Because of what happened, it caused the skies to open up and the cold water came down and froze upon the earth, and hence we entered an ice age. The people that had hidden in the caves made their way out and started to use what they could find to aid them. They knew how to build fires to keep them warm, and they had furs, and they did drawings on the wall to tell people the story of what had happened. Some of them had survived miraculously, and they were going to start afresh. After a long time, after digging through, they found that there was still fish in the sea, in the waters, underneath the ice, and so they dug for their food. It was hard. They suffered, they died, they got injured, there was no help. They were alone. So they built effigies of gods that they could pray to and ask for help. They managed, and over the next few hundred years, the ice started to melt. You are feeling all the emotions now of how these poor people had struggled and suffered and lost loved ones and lost everything they knew. But through it, they had to learn a new way to live, to survive. And through it, they found they knew much more stuff. Their knowledge had grown, and their courage also. At last, the earth came back to life. And so some of these people moved off to the south, and some to the west, some to the south, and some to the north. And they started their own little groups that grew, and they gave birth and they nurtured the earth, and life began again. The new earth, the new way of life. And of course, it was not forgotten what happened, and many stories were told amongst themselves. But because they had to know how to communicate, language was born, and they had a lot more than what they had before. You see, the boundaries had shifted, but the arm in between held it all together. Hell looks at me and she says, how do you feel? How does this make you feel? When you get something bad happen to you, there could be a positive outcome. As she said, you never know when the hail will drop, or how hard it will hit you, or whether you will survive it. But if you do, how do you change it into a positive feature and maybe have more than what you had before? So how does it make you feel? And you say, it's heartbreaking. These things can happen to you. These things in life can be very damaging. Look at those in war-torn areas, earthquakes, violent storms, amputees. There are many things that can happen to us in life. But sometimes we can turn those awful things into a positive. Like a war-torn area, having help from other nations, giving them support. Like a child with an amputated limb being given a prosthesis and living life to the full. Like a town beaten down through an earthquake, being rebuilt. So we have to look at the positives or gain what understanding we can from what has happened. Hell now says it's time to go back. It's time to find Hagalaz's doorway. You thank her for showing you this, for you never really thought about it before. And so she says, it's my time to go. And she disappears at the gate where Hagalaz is standing firm and tall, beckoning to you to walk through. And so it is, you walk through and you find yourself back in the seat you were sitting in beforehand. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Do this with your fingers and your feet. Get yourself back into the living, and when you have a moment, eat something and drink something, for pathworkings are opening up gateways and you need to ground yourself. Okay guys, I hope you got something from that, because as you say, there are many catastrophes, small and large, and they can affect you in a big way. But it's getting what lesson you need to learn from them and to turn it around to benefit yourself. There's so many examples I could give. Losing a job, but gaining a better one. Losing your fur baby and grieving for it, but receiving the joy of maybe a new fur baby in the future. There are many losses, but there are also many gains, and we need to be able to use Hagalaz not in a negative way, but see it as a door opening instead of shutting. For any new subscribers out there, thank you so much. For those that have returned, thank you also so much. And for my true followers that are always with me, love you guys. Thank you. Really appreciate it. And I'm going to leave it there. Hope you got something from this and enjoyed it. And wherever you are, whatever time of day, night or evening it may be, I wish you the best ever. House of a Lang.